Okay, Salam Alaikum. This is video 2. So that would be like the falling into the underworld, right? That would be like dying, right? Okay, the death, okay? And Venus does represent life and death, right? Because from born of a woman and return to a woman, the female, right? That was born of the woman and then return to the earth. All things go back to the earth, right? So the planting of the seed represents at fall, right? Because that's when the planting takes place, represents the returning to the earth, right? Okay. So it represents, it has, an agricultural perspective, okay? Okay, as it represents the seasons, right? Okay, but it has significance for humanity as well, okay? Okay. And it's seen from, as I said, from many perspectives, right? The intercourse, the conception, the planting of the seed, when in reality the planting of the seed takes place at the summer solstice. Yeah, okay? Then we go through the trimesters and the baby's born at Ra, okay? And it's always a boy, right? If it's born at, the other side, it will be a girl, right? Make sure that's right. Well, we won't go there. We won't go there. But that's the perception is seen by, right? I'm just talking about the spiritual perception is seen by, okay? But we won't go there because I'm not really prepared to talk about that. So we'll move on. Okay? Okay. So, as we said, okay, where'd we go? Okay, we talked about the husband. The two perspectives of the husband, because a man has two faces too, right? Face of a father and the face of a husband, right? But just like a woman has two faces, the face of a mother and the face of a wife. And the wife and husband business takes place at dark, right? Okay, behind the veil, right? At night in the bed, right? Okay, okay. So that will be the two faces. When she rises to the summer solstice when he rises to the summer solstice in the intercourse, that's when they get married, right? The consummation, right? And then become his wife and, the nightlife, right? Okay. But that's the holistic way of seeing it, the universal way of seeing it. That's not the Babylonian way of seeing it. The Babylonian way of seeing it, she's a fallen woman, she's a whore, she mates with Mars and all this kind of stuff and has a child and all this kind of stuff. So that's the perception there, okay? So if she can see the child, let me see, 1, 2, 3, and that 1, 2, 3, okay? We won't go there either. I'm just thinking something else, okay? But anyway, so okay, so there's two perspectives. We talked about that, but in reality, two faces husband, two sides to the husband, two sides to the man, two sides to the wife. I mean, two sides to the woman, two sides to the man. This one side of the woman is two sides to the woman, mother and wife. Two sides to the man, husband and father. Okay, now, and because the father is what? The father is generally he generally enforces the mother's will, if you will, when it comes to the children. He makes the children abide by the mother's instruction, holy instruction, right? So he's generally seen as the tough one. I mean, I don't want to say the tough one, but the disciplinarian, right? The one who chastises the children, like God, right? Chastises the merciful side, and then there's a side that's very. There's a side that when Allah chastises humanity, punishes them, right? The strong side, let's put it that way, the merciful side and the strong side. The man is generally seen as the strong side. And so in Babylonian culture, that's usually a Mars, right? That strong Mars influence, right? A war side. They use that to reflect war, when it's really not to reflect war. It just reflects the strength, okay, of the man, okay? That's what it reflects, right? Okay. But they like to see it as a warmonger, but it's not. Okay? That would be the Babylonian side, okay? Okay, so we talked about that her Halloween. would be like the PMS where she becomes a bitch when she falls, right? But it really represents, for the Babylonians, witch, bitch, underworld, kind of demonic perspective they have on it, satanic perspective they have on it. We're gonna talk about that too. Okay? The one side of Venus is holy. The other side, that would be the morning star. The other side of Venus, when she falls into underworld, she becomes demonic and hell, hell, a witch, a bitch. She becomes a living hell, right? With her PMS and all this kind of her emotions, right? Okay, so that would be the other side that reflects, the woman. She's, loses her mind, loses her head, right? All that kind of stuff, right? Because of her emotions, right? In the underworld, right? Okay. So that's supposed to reflect the duality of the divine celestial black mother, as she represents life and death. Life as a morning star when she passes the spring equinox, death when she passes and she falls and becomes a fallen woman, and falls into death, because Mars is war, right? Mars was supposed to represent war and death, right? So she falls into Mars, because what happens after Libra comes what? Scorpio. So that's why it's seen as falling into Mars, because it comes after, right? So if she goes through her cycle, and the cycle, she goes through Libra, then she's going to go into Mars. She's going to go into Scorpio, right? And that's where you get that reptilian breed from, the blue bloods from, the dragon from, the warmongers from the house of Scorpio, right? The reptile, right? It's supposed to be that race that's mated with Venus and Mars, right? When she became the fallen woman, right? And so becoming the fallen woman, and then breeds and has the children of the underworld, right? Which is supposed to be like the Halloween, the witches and the demons and all those spirits, right? Those demonic spirits, right? So this is just their retelling of the celestial events to demonetize, spirituality, okay? In reality, there's nothing to be afraid of, because that outcast spirit has no power, right? Okay, it's just this way he's having you perceive the universe, right? Okay, so now Mars is supposed to be, the warmonger, right? Okay, so they have a bunch of warmongering demonic children in the underworld, right? Okay. And then, so, and that's reflected by Halloween, right? Okay. And that reflects the duality of the Holy Mother and the Holy Father, right? As it relates to the celestial sphere, right? The Sun and Venus, right? And the Mars and Venus, right? Mars and Venus would be what the Sun and Venus would be, have the golden children of the Sun, right? Those would be the good ones, right? The divine ones of the only begotten, right? And they're the children of the Father, right? The only begotten, right? And then you have the children of the devil, right? The warmonger, the reptilians, the dragons, right? And that would be Venus and Mars. But in reality, it's the mother and the father. Mars and Venus would represent the mother and father only. Has nothing to do with children, okay? But it would represent them as a husband and wife, okay? In the romantic, interlude. They would have at night, their bedroom time. They're under the cover, right? And the day is the father and mother taking care of the family, right? The children. Okay. So, but we already discussed how they, the Babylonians want you to see it, okay? Okay, so that's how it's supposed to be, the duality of the mother and duality of the father. The two faces of the mother, two faces of the father. As she represents life and death, man's return to his mother earth, right? Okay, now, and man is to represent death too, right? Because he represents war as Mars, right? Not the husband, okay, that's going to have a funky good time, right? He's to represent death. Okay, as she's to represent death. He's to represent death, and she's to represent a whore. So whore and death having children, right? And that's what Halloween is about, the spirits of the underworld, right? those wicked, whorish, warmongering people, into spirits, right? Okay, so although in Rothchild, which is really Thor, right, backwards, Thor, which is represents Venus, the fallen woman, the whore, Thor's child, which represents hell, right, the underworld, right, death and the underworld, right, death, destruction, and wicked and demons and witches and all this kind of stuff, right. So although Thor is hell's child, right, supposed to be Mars and Venus's child, right, okay, hell's child, right, that's a Nordic perspective, right, okay. Thor is supposed to be, right, the god of the Gentile barbarian, Babylonian Vatican synagogue of Satan, British Israeli converts. That's their false practice, okay? Halloween is really their religion. It's like their holy day. They do a lot of sacrifices, in fact, sacrificing on that day, right? Because that's their holy day. That's like their resurrection, right? Okay, so it's a false practice of cosmic spirituality. The autumnal equinox is made to reflect the fall of the holy black Kemetic mother. The fall of Venus is resurrected to. Okay, so the fall of Venus represents, as we said, Venus as she enters the reptilian underworld of Mars, the celestial warrior realm. Okay. Of death, and as death is reborn, okay, with the white prostitute, right? Why the white prostitute? Like the apocalypse, right? The pale face, right? And Saturn, because Saturn represents death, supposed to represent death because it's the winter solstice, right? Yeah, the winter solstice. And what happens at the winter solstice? It's the darkest time of the year. It's the coldest time of year. Like the summer solstice is the hottest time of the year. The winter solstice will be the coldest time of the year, right? All the life is taken out of the sun. All the heat is taken out of the sun. It's absorbed from the sun. That's why the sun has to rise and be reborn at the spring equinox, right? So Saturn is like, that's why Saturn is supposed to be Cronus and eating his child, right? Because it's supposed to eat the sun, the soul, right? It eats the soul, right? Because that would be what? The second trimester, right? Before it's born. So the little soul has to be reborn at the equinox, not the equinox, but the spring equinox, because its soul was taken, right? So it's got to get its soul reborn again through the Holy Mother at Ramadan, right? Ramadan, right? Okay, now, and Ramadan is the holiest time on the Muslim calendar, right? Where we intercourse, or we fast, right? And we commune solely with Allah, right? Solely with Allah. Praying and fasting and doing good deeds and all of that, right? And after Ramadan, we make the Hajj. That is like climbing the mountain, right? That's like climbing, that we go to see, to Mecca, right? That's like going through the Easter, right? Opening the cracked egg. That's like Mother's Day, right? Preparing for graduation or intercoursing. We're learning and growing, right? And then preparing for graduation, right? And that is, graduation comes what? We're meeting, going to the holy house, the Kaaba, and climbing that mountain and conversing or doing the prayer to Allah. See? So the universe, understanding how the universe works will help you understand your religion, right? So there's nothing pagan about the process. It's just being in harmony with the universe, because in Islam it said all things worship Allah, even the birds, the trees, the flowers, and everything. You just don't know how they do it, but they go through their process, okay? So humanity has to do the same, okay? It's just that they attributed, the Vatican and the Babylon, they attributed to the outcast spirit, the rituals. They attribute the ceremony to the outcast spirit, right? That outcast spirit that seeks to destroy humanity, right? Okay. But being in harmony with the universe is what, Islam is about, because that's what we're taught to do, right? Being a Christian was to be in harmony with the universe. Being a Jew was to be in harmony with the universe, right? Okay. Okay. And attribute all the actions that one does to Allah, right? Do the ceremonies for Allah, right? Okay. Okay. Now, because remember they said what? The signs and wonders would be seen in the moon, the stars, and all the planets, right? Well, the moon, the stars, the moon, the heavens, right? Okay. Okay. So, now, as we said, the Venus, the morning and evening star represents life and death, right? This life cycle of man or humanity, right? Okay. So we were at this one. Although, okay, so we said now the Babylonians, right? The Babylonian Vatican Synagogue of Satan of British Israeli converts, they falsely practice the cosmic spirituality at the autumnal equinox, and it's made to reflect the fall of the holy black Kemetic mother, the fall of Venus. Okay, as we said, as she enters the reptilian underworld of Mars, the celestial warrior realm of death, and all those spirits are, rise, right, to the physical realm, right? Or okay, I'm supposed to rise because the veil between the physical world and the spiritual world is supposed to be thinnest at Scorpio, right? So what happens is those spirits supposed to rise from the dead and be mingle with the living, right? Okay, and they have their little Halloween celebration, right? Okay, so as we said, why? And Venus, as a fallen woman, she's represented by the white prostitute, right? Or the white prostitute or the white whore, as the drum so conveniently does. Okay, he represents the white prostitute, whore, death, and warmongering. Okay, and a pimp, right? Okay, to be the unholy mother whore of the dead. And he's the whore is to be the mother to the undead, okay, bastard nation of savages, savage, uncivilized, barbarian son of bitches of the devil Mars, okay. Now, or the devil Saturn, we'll go to there too. Now, whoremongering, why white? Because the apocalypse, right? The fourth horse of the apocalypse is going to be a pale face, right? Because all life, the soul, is taken out, right? At the winter solstice, right? Because that's the darkest day, the coldest day of the year, right? The sun is the furthest from the earth, right? So that's when the sun dies, right? So when the sun when the person is dead, they have the what? The pale face. No life, right? There's no life in the sun. There's no soul in the sun. So it has to go back up to Ra, Madam, the woman of Ra, to get life. It has to be in the womb again, right? To get life, right? Because life comes from the womb, right? The mother, right? So he has to come out. He has to be born through the womb again to get life, right? So the sun dies at Ra, right? That's why he dies at the winter solstice, right? And as I said, it becomes a pale face, right? So therefore, the whore of Babylon has to be white, right? A pale face, okay? Well, it has to be represented by a pale face. Okay, and that is why the mother face of the Vatican is the so-called Holy Mary is white face, and her son is white, right? Because it would be the son of what? Mars. The son. So the mother of the Vatican, right? The Holy Mother of the Vatican is to be white, right? Represents death, because the Vatican represents death. It does not represent life. It represents death. Okay, and that's why they can design this synagogue of Satan. Synagogue of Satan represents death. Okay, and their biggest celebration is Halloween. Okay, they make you think that's not the case. Well, their biggest celebration is Christmas, right? And that happens right that Christmas. We're gonna get. Well, we'll go. No, I'll go there now. Their biggest celebration is Christmas, right? Why Christmas? Because Christmas represents the crossing over, the Passover. It represents the Passover of death, right? Because the sun passed over it passed over at the equinox, at the winter solstice, right? And so now 3 days later, the sun is born again. Okay, it begins to rise because it said on that point. The sun stays still for 3 days. So that's what Jesus supposedly went into the tomb and stayed for 3 days, and he rose on the third day, right? He rose from the tomb on the third day. So we have him, the winter solstice, right? The sun dies for 3 days. It stays on that axis, okay? And then after 3 days, it rises. So from the 21st to the 24th, it's dead, right? Then on the third day, the 25th, it rises. So that's when you have the Christmas celebration. Okay? The sun's supposed to be the sun's victory over death, right? The only begotten's victory over death, right? And that's what it represents. Okay? Okay. Because remember, it died, right? When it went, okay? When it goes through the when it falls, right? When the fall time, when it goes past the autumnal equinox, right? The autumn equinox, it falls, and that's when fall happens, right? Okay. Okay, so that's their biggest celebration is Christmas. That's their biggest celebration. Is death, okay? So, but it's supposed to represent defeat over death, but it represents death, okay? Okay. Okay. So it made to reflect the fall of the holy black woman, okay, and Mars and her holy unholy bastard reptilian nation of what the Mars represents Scorpio, so it's a reptilian nation, a nation of the dead, okay, a nation of the dead, and their biggest holiday is celebrating victory over death, right? Okay, that's their biggest holiday. Okay, and they tell you it's all Christian. It's not all Christian. It's not all Christianity. It's not pure Christianity. That's why, mashallah, the Prophet Muhammad came to teach how, mankind or humanity is to practice spirituality. Okay? And that's why Prophet born of a virgin, inshallah, subhanahu wa ta'ala, he will return. Inshallah means God, Allah willing, okay? So, inshallah, subhanahu wa ta'ala, the Prophet born of a virgin will return and again teach humanity, those who don't know, how to practice their spirit, how to purely practice the spirituality, okay? Okay. Because you have to have pure energy. The universal energy has to be pure. So when you practice it, you have to know who you're, why you are, performing certain rituals at certain times. Okay, yeah, and at certain points in the universe, right? Okay. Okay. So the phase of Venus on the celestial cardinal plane represents the divine feminine aspect of our cosmic black mother. Why is it black? Because if you look in the sky without the sun, what color is it going to be? Okay? That represents the womb. Okay? All those planets and everything in it represents the womb of the holy what? Black mother. Okay? Now, and her only begotten represents the sun. When you look up in the sky, you only see one sun. You don't see two. You see one. So that represents the only begotten sun. Okay? And all of us represent the children, the golden children of the sun, right? Because the sun is what represents gold, right? The soul, the heart, a heart of gold. And all of our And we absorb the sun, right? The sunlight, the rays of sun, right? So that aids in our life force, right? Okay. So we are the children of the sun, okay? The golden children of the sun, okay? That is our cosmic father, okay? Our energy as it relates to our soul, okay? That is the father of our soul, okay? Okay. So as I said, the plane of the phases of Venus on the celestial cardinal plane represents the divine feminine aspect of our cosmic black mother, our holy cosmic black mother, as she represents all women and all things that are feminine. The cosmic door at Taurus represents the entrance and ascendance to the universal womb. Let me make sure that's correct. The cosmic door at Taurus represents the entrance and ascendance. So it represents ascendance, right? Because of the seven sisters, right? Going to give you that knowledge, right? As you pass Taurus, right? Because you got to pass everybody's house. That's why they have trick-or-treating, right? So you go to house to house to house and you get some candy, right? Or you get a treat. So when you go into house, right? When you go to the houses, right? You go to Aries, you're going to get something there. You go to Taurus, you're going to get something there. You go to Gemini, you're going to get something there. You go to Cancer, you're going to get something there. You go to Leo, get something there. You get some knowledge or some insight, something from every house. That's what Halloween represents. Trick or treat, okay? Okay, you go as you go through the year, you go through on the what's it called, the elliptical. Okay, the sun goes through on the elliptical, right? As it goes through the elliptical, right? Okay. Then not the sun goes through the elliptical, but the sun. I think it's the sun. I can't remember. But anyway, as we age, right? Okay, as we age and time passes, okay, we go through the cycle. The annual cycle goes through the. Okay, we go through the elliptical. The sun rises in the east and sets in the west. Okay, so I'm getting tired. Okay, so we go through every house and we get something, some knowledge or some insight. Okay, from every position on the celestials on the elliptical, right? Okay. Yeah, as the sun passes on the elliptical, right? Because the sun rises in the east and sets in the west, but it's transitioning through every house is visited by the sun, right? Okay. Well, every house, let's put it this way, every house visits the sun, right? Okay. So, so as the house and likewise, okay, we travel through the universe, right? And as we travel through the universe, we visit different constellations, right? We go through different constellations, right? And so as we go through those different constellations, we get different we experience different energies. Therefore, we experience different insight, okay? And we grow, right? So as we grow, as we go through those different houses, we gain different insight based upon the insight we gain. Based upon the energy that is in that particular constellation, okay? Has a different effect on us, and we're supposed to learn from those different experiences, right? Okay, so, and that is how we learn, and that is how we grow spiritually, and that is what trick-or-treating is about, going through different constellations, right? As you go through different houses, they go to knock on the door and they trick-or-treat and they get candy. That's what that represents, okay? So, and you can see how that has been corrupted and demeaned, okay, to only involved children, right? When going through the celestial sphere has great significance, right? And is taken very lightly, right? Okay. Okay. So, okay. Okay. So the cosmic door, okay, we're gonna knock on. We go through different doors, right? As we go through different houses, right? Okay. Different constellations, right? That would be different houses, okay? So the cosmic door at Taurus represents the interest of the ascendants, right? Because that's where the seven sisters are, the Pleiades, right? To the universal womb, okay? And the black hole of the divine mother, right? Which is represented by what? Cancer, okay? Beginning at the, no. Okay, so so the cosmic door is at at Taurus, right? But the entrance, and it's the entrance of ascendants, right? But the first point of the first house would be the first house would be at Aries, right? Okay, and it would climax at Cancer. Okay, thus the cracking of the divine black cosmic egg at the galactic center begins at the horizon. Oh, I'm jacking that up seriously. Okay, let me see what I'm trying to say. Oh, okay. Okay, so as I said, the cosmic door at Taurus represents the entrance and ascendance to the universal womb of the black hole, which is represented by Cancer, right? Okay, but the beginning is at Aries, right? Though the beginning is at Aries, the climax is at Cancer, right? But the whole thing just represents different aspects of the mother, right? The first point being Aries, second point being when that would be the first point, right? Of the woman, let's say as a girl. Then the second point would be intercoursing with the mother as a girl. Second point would be intercoursing with the mother as the woman as a mother, okay, as a woman, right? Second point would be intercoursing with her as no, let's do it again. First point would be intercoursing with her as a girl. Second point, intercourse as a woman. Third point, intercoursing as a mother. Second point, intercoursing would be like, let's say, a grandmother. Okay? Okay. Because that's what? That will be the old age, right? Because that's where the sun dies, right? Okay, said to die. Okay. So that's why they say Saturn eats his children, because Saturn is supposed to be the old grandfather or the old grandmother, right? The old grandmother that eats the son, right? The young son, right? As the baby is the baby's traversing the universe, right? Because it's conceived at. Let me go to video 3. Assalamu alaikum. Oh fuck! What did I do?